You're here to learn about winning a custody battle. There are 4 things that you must do, but they're not what you would expect. Stick with me, I'll make a strong case for you. As a professional psychologist, part of my career has been committed to doing child custody evaluations for the court. I did that for about 13 years before I switched over to positive psychology and started hanging out with you here on YouTube. Here's what I learned. As a professional evaluator for the court, there are 2 worlds that are created for a child. This graph will help you to see what I'm talking about. Before parents separate, the child's world is just one big hole, like if there were just one circle here. When mom and dad separate, for whatever reason, that world splits, and now we have mom's world and dad's world, and they are very different, aren't they? Of course they are. Where do the kids belong? Right there in the middle. Now actually, the kids' world is larger than either mom's world or dad's world because the kids' world includes mom's world and the kids' world includes dad's world. Keep this image in mind for a moment because the research shows very, very clearly that the number 1 factor that creates negative outcomes for children in divorce is conflict. Specifically, conflict between the parents about the kids. Remember, the kids are right here in the middle. So if we've got 2 separate factions that are fighting each other, shooting shots at each other, it's not safe to be right here in the middle. You have to understand where the kids are coming from because that's what's most important to the judge or to the evaluator. As a professional evaluator, I had to try to figure out what's going to be best for the kids. Now, I want to find a good resolution for the parents too, because if life is better for both parents, then it's going to be better for the kids. But the focus is on those children. So I'm looking for primarily what is the source of the conflict, and both sides are really good at blaming each other for that conflict. If you come into this custody evaluation with a mindset of adversarial, I've got to win this fight, we've already got a problem. So we have to take that word winning out for just a minute, unless we apply it specifically to the children. That's who we want to win. I hope as I share these 4 main points with you, part of you is going to go, well, duh, I already knew that. And part of you will think, wait, this isn't what my attorney is telling me. I am not an attorney. Please do not look at this video as legal advice. It's not. I'm giving you relationship advice because I know that a custody battle can hurt children. And I don't want this to happen to your kids. So there's 4 things we need to do in order to win, meaning win for the children. This is who we're focused on. Number 1, be authentic. Be real. Honestly, as an evaluator, I went into many of those evaluations expecting, and I was never disappointed, that people were going to put on their best face. And when I visited the home, there was potpourri simmering on the stove and bread baking in the oven. It was the picture of perfection. It was the Pinterest moment. And I knew that it was fake. And I'm not saying that you're fake, but if you show up that way, it raises flags for the evaluator, for the judge. I went into homes where I thought, this can't be real. This is not sustainable. There was a state of, sometimes I called it unnatural tension, where it felt like everything was going to just fall back to where it was as soon as I left the home. I want you to be authentic. You be yourself because you are a benevolent, generous, loving parent. Be that person. You don't have to show up as this bitter, angry person who's fighting with the child's other parent. From an evaluator standpoint, that's not a good thing. I don't want anybody endangering this child or this child's world, which includes the other parent. I know that's not the typical advice that you would get from an attorney in an adversarial situation. I'm giving you relationship advice. Be authentic. Be real. I know this is going to fly in the face of some conventional wisdom too, because you're embroiled in this battle, this fight, right? Remember who's in the middle. You've got to be nice. And the other party may or may not be. In fact, there's a high likelihood that there's going to be some meanness going on, that there's going to be some bitterness and anger happening. Just make sure it's not coming from you. You be nice. When I said be authentic earlier, you got to tell the truth, right? You also want to show up as the kind, benevolent individual and human being that you actually are. Remember, as an evaluator, if I'm evaluating this case, I want to see who you really are. That's why being authentic is so important. Well, are you a nice person too? You know what? When you squeeze a tomato, what do you get? Tomato juice, right? Wait, you don't get orange juice from a tomato? What about when you squeeze an orange? What do you get? Orange juice. Oh, what a surprise. You squeeze something, you see what's inside of it. Custody evaluations squeeze people. And what's leaking out of you, if it looks like anger and bitterness and animosity, then as an evaluator, I'm thinking, whoa, what's inside of this person? And what happens when things get hard with the kids, when you get that squeeze? You got to be nice. And that's a little counterintuitive as well. But it's so important to show who you really are. Number 3, I already gave you a heads up to. Be focused on the kids or the child. I don't know if it's multiple for you. Be focused on the kids. This is who it's all about in the first place. The judge knows that. The evaluator knows that. Your knowing that helps you to show up in a way that shows that you truly have this child's interest at heart. And it's about them. So when you're talking, even to your attorney or to your friends, don't get into this bitter, angry battle kind of language. Make sure that it stays focused on the child, what your children need, what their desires are, and we're not going to put the burden on them. I never asked kids, which parent do you want to live with? That is such an unfair question. And it's kind of like asking, which arm do you want me to cut off? They don't want to make that choice, and that's way too much pressure for a kid. We still need to be sensitive, however, to the other factors in their world, and your issues are not their issues. Get that through your head. Your issues are not their issues. They've got a whole different take on this thing, and the overwhelming majority of children that I evaluated love both of their parents. And they don't always feel full permission to love their parents because of the bitter, angry battle. You stay focused on the children. Number 4, and it kind of makes me chuckle a little that I even have to say this. Be a good parent. This is like a job application. When families would come to me in a custody dispute and I'm evaluating them, I want to know, are you a good parent? Do you have the children's best interests at heart? Are you authentic and genuine and truthful? Are you nice and civil? Can you interact with people? Can you facilitate this child's relationship with the other parent? These are all the things I'm looking for, and that's why I wanted you to know these 4 steps. On the last one, be a good parent. We all struggle. And this is a stressful time. So you're going to be under increased pressure, and that doesn't always help performance. If you need some help with that, there are resources. Reach out to those resources. You've got to be a good parent because that is the job that you're applying for in the first place. Some of those tips might have surprised you, but they are so powerful. If you want to learn more about custody, click on the video, How to Win Child Custody. You'll get some of the same and some other ideas in that video. And also on the fourth step, be a good parent. If you haven't yet checked out the Parenting Power Up, click on that right now. And let's meet up on the inside so I can give you some additional coaching and pointers along those lines. I'll see you there.